work, and the only thing is the schedule. The only thing is like make sure that it's the correct one that I linked on the website. Can you go to Lovington.org actually? Well, see if it'll-
Well, if he does the drill, they drill. They don't pay, they give us 50 more minutes. Then that's gonna flood the market. With the price of it is. And more people are working.
You scroll down, and so there'll be a post that says, "Oh, here's the live stream." Scroll down, scroll, keep scrolling. See this. Scroll down. Click on it and see if it.
It's all the transportation costs.
Yay! Yes.
What's up, Chief?
Oh, I was gonna show you this.
Hey,
Here's this part.
Man, they're there.
Hey, what do you say, brother?
I was just saying, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's me.
You always claimed him not to, brother. Now he's still hanging around. Yeah.
After that, after the non-action ordinance, it's the main, then put your
The pictures will be up on the screen.
In that case, he could.
Yeah, and then we can talk about it, or what do y'all think? It's a design, don't worry about the color now. Make sure you tell them that. And they put up a sign for the, courthouse.
You might go check it out.
Shut it down like 3 minutes. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Someone's asking me the evidence submission job, how much per hour? They are ready. It's Christopher Jill, but it's not for her. One of the people jumping chain.
They got experience.
How much? I want to say 21, 23 range. Yeah. I respect you.
Testing, 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 testing.
Well, it'll come out in the wash. Bronchial infection. I saw him today. Slamming my toe. I was like, man, I get by that. So he gave me Zithromax. He gave me prednisone. Oh, right. But I really, the prednisone.
I didn't get shot. I mean, because my knee bothers. It's always good. You heard me getting hurt in the knee with a shot before I got sick. Then I got sick and went to another doctor. I gave me more prednisone than one more.
How long does it take? Time.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. Get out on the loser report.
How are you?
Good, I saw y'all today. Quarterback. Over there by the ice machine.
I see you.
But it worked pretty good. Thank you a little exaggerated.
Yeah, no, I was just too busy to bring him to you.
No, you're.
Where?
Sir, how are you?
We'll get it.
Good, bro. I'm doing really well.
Fabulous.
Now, subject to change at any
Hey, man,
second.
we'll take what we got
That's,
right now.
that's the way I look
Let's
at
run with this line until somebody tells us different.
it. Die with the light.
At least you ain't sitting at the house. Sitting at the house, get in trouble. Fixing that cadence. We're fixing that trip. My wife's leaving tomorrow. Fix that trip down to South Texas.
All the phone lines,
Morning. All right.
My nose has been running all day. It hasn't rained in like 3 days, but it's running.
Quit running my mouth. Quit whatever.
I was doing really good, and then we had Justin's birthday on Saturday, and our waitress was talking about doing stuff by the end of the night.
You
I
said,
have
yeah.
no means. So when I finally got to the doctor, I was like, "Can I take Sudafed?" She's like, "Yes, you can take
first thing this
Sudafed."
morning while I was taking pictures, I was running across the digital scale. I said, I don't know, what are you using this for? And he goes, my
So
goal,
that's
sir,
been
my
nice,
goal.
but I've been taking Sudafed for a week straight now. Tomorrow, it's not good for you.
No.
So I'm gonna have to kind of wean off it. But my nose just drips right there in front of my mouth. And then with the head cold and that. So I'm not supposed to blow my nose.
You ran
Oh,
the time getting
Yeah, so I have to sniff or
right.
or lay down flat. That's kind of all I can do. I just
What if you actually just lay down?
I just lay down all day. Just it's
Oh, I'm so
Miranda,
sorry.
Miranda, it's fixed. It's okay. Yeah, it's yes, because there were zero. Yeah. Just making sure.
Thank you.
It's kind of chaos.
He knows that you're watching.
I can't smile or anything yet. It doesn't work.
Did he? Did he make it financial or the accounts payable?
They don't do that anymore. What the hell are you thinking?
Okay, I was just wondering.
They're working on the audit.
You realize that just because I'm a finance person, you can't expect.
We don't even pay bills. I mean, why do you think you're gonna get your packet?
We've been running it without any freaking paperwork for so long. I mean, if they actually had some, knew which end was up, it would probably not get run off.
Okay, well, I just was making sure I hadn't missed it, and before I said anything, and y'all are like,
At this point, I'm just waiting for something to come.
"Could come what?"
From Santa Fe.
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't even know what the numbers are.
exactly.
We can give you an alphabet, but we can't do numbers.
Okay, all right. Well, I feel better.
You're a
So-
funny
So,
kid.
did you get that real nice little thing with the paper Nazi over here?
The paper Nazi.
Yesterday, she.
No, you're gonna be way better.
It was one that had all these details.
Yesterday, she came over first time, she's wearing a dress.
Yeah.
I've been home the same time, pissed off, saying,
The first time I
you got the check, but it's not
Never
mine.
seen that.
It all did on day.
On one day.
You said
Some of this
it's-
shit's been on before I was here.
Ever. Yes.
Before he was here.
That's why I was like pushing that.
How are you, sir? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sir.
See all that turmoil? I didn't even see it come in.
I just
Slipped in.
Snuck in the bag.
on the floor here, even like the water bill.
You know, if we, those county chambers were, they could come out through the back. Oh, wouldn't it be nice?
How are you, sir?
I am doing very well, thank you.
Every time I go
Real good.
Mr. Trujillo, how are you? How are you, sir?
Yes.
I came this way so I wouldn't scare you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I got rid of it.
Miranda,
You got harassed in
and I
traffic.
think I'm still paying full rates too. Because the
sleep with a bike on.
That's
just, after a while, it just bugs me so bad, I just had to get rid of it.
Wow, thank you.
So, the rates didn't change,
Just the usage.
just the application of the rate.
Okay, so I'm still good. I need to go over there and see if any pipes broke. I can't leave that heater on over there. It isn't broken.
Are you Patrick?
How are you?
Stay warm.
Yeah, if you're not using anything, that should be standard.
I just thought we could.
That's Troy there,
I can't see where
through there, day.
some days I can see really clear.
You're not changing numbers.
Now it's been really frustrating. I'm still 48 years old now.
I'm 62.
Yeah.
I can see fine
It's because
anywhere up here.
you
It's
don't.
out there.
Right here?
Shit. Out there.
5 miles out? The car, a couple things in there, all kinds of.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
I can see both.
You see that bird just flying? Everybody in my car's going, what bird? There, that hot.
It's gonna be empty tonight?
Here, oh, shit. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, there it is. If we drive to
I just had a question.
You got a good prayer on you?
Huh?
You got a good prayer on you?
Hi, if you need me to, I can step in for you.
Appreciate it.
I looked at it and went, I wonder who is getting the pinch hit for it.
I was gonna bring my priest in.
Is that a service?
I noticed that.
You said the wedding. Turn everything around.
25. That's the
Yeah,
first
she
time.
I've only written it like 3 or 4 times. I think I've written it wrong more times than I've written it right.
No, I do great from January to March, and then somewhere in March.
You revert?
Yeah, go back.
Okay.
It's the stupidest thing, like the entire, like there's 2 weeks in March and April, so right on there, I run 24.
I think we're just mainly waiting for Main Street to be done.
Drive me insane.
Well,
They're pale. Look at them.
I haven't seen the
There's
sun.
one in.
I haven't seen the sun in over a
How you doing?
that's all the rooms finished early, so we had to finish up.
I've just been living in my bedroom.
And then once that was done, we were able to.
Like I'm ready to behind his face.
Now it's Main Street.
In so many ways.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I haven't seen the sun at all.
You have a little.
I could put some bronzer on my hands. No, I haven't seen the sun.
Because we may be able to get some.
But it's also, like I said, that's what I'm trying to finish that. For them to approve it. But it's just like to see that sign in Lovington Which I got, they got signs there showing restriction, taking that. As far as shelters. Yeah. So 4 different offices with the lighting and everything. Just curious. I thought so too.
too.
It's on 70, no, it's on like 70, but it's hard.
It's above 62, huh? Oh, you missed it. Yeah, you missed that.
You guys will hear. Been an hour.
When did you have
See what I think? You know when I went back this 17, because last Monday.
Oh, what time? Everybody ready? Jumped up on me. All right. I call this regular session of the Lovington City Commission to order. Roll call, please, Ms. Shannon.
Mayor Roberts,
I am here.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Here.
Commissioner Gandy.
Here.
Commissioner Bolt,
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
All right. Sorry, didn't even see. It's been so long, I forgot. Ah. Oh, Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to see who we were,
I
who was on the.
I brought my friend, Commissioner Gandy, along with me.
Is that what you call a bunt or a pinch hit?
You'll join us in the invocation, please.
Pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this new year. Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this absolutely beautiful day. But Lord God, we give you all the praise and glory as you blessed us with a new year, with new goals and new dreams. Lord God, I just pray that as this commission leads the community, I just pray that you would give us the direction and the foresight to do what is right for our citizens. Lord God, I just pray that you would give our staff the energy, the skills, the knowledge they need to perform their task. And Lord God, I just pray that we would be a bright shining star in our county and in our state. Lord God, we give you the praise and the glory because that's who deserves it. You are a holy and righteous King and the Lord of our lives. We thank you and we praise you. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join us in the pledge.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
May be seated.
Give me a second. All right, Mr. Mayor. Crystal here, so we're doing adjustments. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for the consideration of the minutes of December 9th, 2024.
I'll second with a correction.
Okay.
On the resolution 2024-120, Approve Open Meetings Act for 2025. We have listed that myself, Commissioner Bolt, voted no on this. That is incorrect. It needs to be corrected. Other than that, I second.
Okay. Motion is second to approve or adopt the minutes with the correction. Any further discussion? Corrections? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt.
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
All right. Brings us to our commissioners and staff report. Ms. Shannon, do you have anything this evening?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
All right. Isabel?
Yes, sir.
All right, boy, we're buzzing around a lot. Chief?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager. Officer activities for the month of December is calls of service was 1,269. Self-initiated calls was 582. Had 119 citations with 37 arrests. Code enforcement's stats for the month of December was 289 calls, code calls, They only issued 5 warning citations with 284 citations. At this time, we have the Lovington awning project and have an update with Daniel Lim Engineering.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with the project, but what's happened is I'm here tonight. I've been talking to the chief and Ms. Bolt about this awning project for which Lovington got a grant, which is basically a covering for the vehicles of the city of the police department. So the existing parking area that's fenced off, this is a grant to cover it. So what we've done is we worked with the chief and Ms. Bolt to come up with something that we thought that they were asking for. So what we've done is just put together a couple of options that we provided them to kind of illustrate what it is. And just for illustration purposes, this is 2 options. One has a skirt on the end with some wall paneling, and one does not. One adds a few columns and one does not. It's just kind of given something to look at. But anyways, we're working on this. We're working on getting that built up. And I don't know what to add to that. If there's any questions I can address or issues. What you'd like me to add, Chief?
No, do you have any questions in reference to the colors?
Are you presenting this for input as to which one we would like, or are you just kind of?
Sure.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's pretty much your decision. I mean,
Right.
What works best for you?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a standalone, it's not gonna be attached to the building, so pretty much all our vehicles will be protected due to the hail from this point forward, once we get this up and going.
The skirting adds an appearance. I mean,
Yeah, it's more of an appearance.
exactly. I mean, it looks nice or whatever, but either one will keep the hail off, I'm sure, so.
How much is that gonna encompass in your parking lot?
All of it,
All of it.
it'll be the whole parking lot.
You'll be able to fit all your vehicles in there?
Yes, sir.
And I guess whichever one works better for you. One seems to have a wider opening than the other, or is that just looking at the pictures, they're both similar?
They're both pretty similar as far as the actual total structure.
Yeah, they're identical from a bird's eye view. We were just giving them an option, and it's about as much option as we could have given the constraints. Because we're really doing kind of what you're getting to is that existing metal panel fence.
Correct.
We're just putting a roof on it. It's approaching looking like a metal building, you know what I mean? So it'll be a canopy, but because of the fence walls, it'll be pretty secure.
I just wanted to, because I was looking at the opening, and on the one picture, it looks relatively small, but is there enough for 2 vehicles, one going one way, one coming the other, being able to fit through there?
We wouldn't be changing any of the current layout at all.
Okay, so with the fence the way that it is right now, it's staying the way that it is?
Yes,
It's just
sir.
going over the top?
Yes, sir, that's a
Okay.
good question. The idea is to just add the columns, which is an inconvenience in itself, but nothing more. And I'm talking to them about a couple of other minor modifications. But really, you're just gonna have those columns is what you would see that's different. So we're kind of trying to make the most of what we got there.
Okay.
And the highest vehicle that we have is a camper. So we're trying to keep that entrance to where if we needed to keep that, pull that camper into our parking lot, and we'd be able to do that as well.
Chief and Daniel, your capital outlay grant is for $250,000. Do you gentlemen think you can come in at or below that at this point on total costs?
For sure, there's no doubt, and the way we're gonna approach that is by phasing it out and hurrying up, because they let me know they needed this done quick. So we're gonna work on that, but it's actually important because what we'll do is get the awning built, make sure we're under budget, and whatever fluff we have with that afterwards, we will use to put in lighting or anything else that would accessorize it. but we don't get to put lighting on anything that's not there, and we're not gonna hold that up. Let that hold up any of the process, let's say. Thank you. Is that?
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say that side awning would add extra protection from hail and sunlight. I don't know. I just don't know how, picture and see how it looked from Love Street, if it would look nice or not look nice.
Where that
Yeah.
blue stripe is, that's the east looking west.
The west, okay. Yeah, that would be ideal on that side of it. I think that would be ideal.
You know, some of these things answer themselves when you draw them, right? And so what happens is, we're gonna have a beam spanning 60 feet plus. So it's gonna be a deep beam. So whether that skirt there is not, you've got a skirt, except it's a beam itself. So to be honest, the more I look at it, it's a no-brainer. We're not gonna put a skirt, and it actually looks uglier because it looks like metal building. We can make it look nice and sleek and metal, and you paint the beams to look decent, and you put a soffit on it to make it look a little nicer. But we will still get the effect of a deep 2-foot beam is basically a skirt, you know? So, not having decided yet, and talking to the chief and Mrs. Bolt, it seems like the answer would probably be to go with no skirt, only because after drawing it, it becomes evident that it's probably not gonna help us so much. Sometimes, in some cases, we're from Lovington and the winds blow and the hail comes in sideways, but I think that beam will be the natural barrier, and it actually simplifies the construction too. So it's nice when everything points to the same answer, probably.
Oh, the skirting would just be an additional cost. It really
yeah.
doesn't change the,
It just covers your.
Right.
it doesn't change what you're needing the structure to do.
Well, if the beam was really shallow,
The
then,
skirting would be
then
necessary.
it would which makes sense sometimes.
Mhm.
And we can even tell them honestly, for the first time, he's like, give us a deeper beam for that effect. They'll sell it to you.
Right.
Yeah, they will.
The major concern I would have is, I didn't really care for the siding much because of I don't know where you were gonna support it halfway down. And the second issue I see is, kinda like they had out there at Lee County Electric, is what are you gonna do to deter our friendly feathered friends? I think that's, is there a deterrent that we're gonna have in there as far as wire netting or whatever to keep birds from living there?
We're gonna install a metal soffit to cover the bottoms of
So the
all
bottom
the
will be
panels.
enclosed?
Right.
Okay.
So then that solves a majority of it, and you're just left with the beams themselves, which is what's left.
Good.
And you do
The
what
pig.
you can. You put the little pigeon deterrents.
Got it.
But the big one that you really don't want, if you leave the bottom of the purlin exposed with that little lip,
Yep.
it's just, so it's kind of a cool thing, because to be honest, it'll look nice, cause I don't like, you want it to look decent, and by putting that soffit on and painting the beams, you're gonna see a nice metal look. It'll actually look okay. It can look, I don't know how great it would look, but it could look a lot uglier if we put just a metal wall there. It would look
Right.
like that.
Like I said, I was just, the more I looked at it, I was like, I was wondering what you were gonna do to deter the feathered friends there.
That's right.
But yeah, so.
Is there anything else I can help you along? Thank you.
Chief, I'd just say spend the money effectively.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like,
Next project is Laura with Code Enforcement. They're gonna give us a quick update on I guess 1010 South 4th, the demo of the 3 buildings of 4th and Avenue J.
oh,
Alright. Right now, where we're at, we've done a property inspection, warning, certified mail, re-inspection, finally, the abatement notice, the code enforcement, and municipal court certified letters. After, the home property owner received the, certified letter from the municipal court, at the same time, code enforcement, certified letter. included with citations, a little over 2,800. She did come forward in person with her scheduled court date. This property owner, she did come and started speaking about her property, how she actually granted the city of Lovington permission to go ahead and demolish the 3 homes and clean the property. So all legal documents and everything, and this is a picture how it looks currently. And this is the front. As you can see, they were cooking out of those, I guess
I know.
they call pit homes.
What is the term?
No, I just remember last Super Bowl? Yeah, they were out front having a big old bonfire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And these people living in I believe it's the red little small home, she claims to be the owner. She is not the owner. She is a squatter. And anybody else that's they come and go out of the other 2 homes, and they are also squatters. The property owner did advise and did a eviction notice with the person currently living there. She still claims to be the owner. So she's in the process of evicting her. So for now, we are working on getting the other 2 small homes demolished while they resolve their legal side for the person to get evicted from there. So they did have trash bins that were stolen, taken from other properties. Waste Management did pick up those trash bins. This right here, they dug up where they tried to tap into the sewer and water for the 100th time. They were unsuccessful. Currently, since this past Friday, they did utility tampering with the electric company. Not sure how, because they did get cut off from the main. I always tell the squatters, and I speak to them, man, you should have become an electrician. But yeah, so there's openings, the windows, the doors. It's not livable at all. And the property owner wasn't aware that she had other squatters. This has been going on since a very long time. Her past deceased husband, when he had passed, she had just gotten divorced from him. And I guess her name is still as the property owner. If you can see, this is the correct legal address is 1010 South 4th. Those are the 3 homes that are going to be demolished. The top one, the middle, and we're waiting for the one in the corner for the squatter to be legally evicted from there. And everybody, I guess, everybody got into the habit of calling this address 1018 South 4th, 1014 South 4th, but it's not the address. The legal address is 1010 South 4th. Back then, everybody just put in a number and rented out their place, maybe. I have no idea, but that's what happened.
If you don't mind, 'cause I know I've spoken to you about it, but give some of the details as to why this is not a legitimate setup or anything on this piece of property.
All right, first of all, it's just one whole property, and there's 3 homes. If they wanted 3 homes on there, they should be replatted to be 3 different properties, but it wouldn't, I bet it wouldn't have qualified for it to be that. So in the first place, there's 3 homes shouldn't have been there whatsoever. So I do tell everybody in the city of Lovington that, if you have something that's been built, or you have a property that you're looking at and you want to buy it, please look into it, because the city is really trying to get on top of everything now, everything to do with the municipal code.
Chief and Laura, to justify using Operation Cleanup funds, can you justify this as a public menace or safety hazard, calls of service to the residents, criminal activity, so as not to violate any kind of anti-donation laws?
Yes, over the, I'd say the last 10 years, we probably had 100 different calls there for arrests, criminal activity, drug activity.
Utility tampering.
Yeah, utility tampering, warrant services, recovery
Fires.
stolen property.
Listen, I say
Fires.
we've had many fires, we've had drug overdoses, we've had a lot in those.
Yeah.
Are you gonna attempt to put a lien on the
Yes,
property?
and the amount right now is not calculated out yet, just because we are still waiting for the legal side about the third one, the other small one. What else about this one? Okay. This was a request from the citizens of Lovington. One property that is in need of Lovington cleanup. 1010 South 4th, and it has its partial number, which is the legal number to this property. Code Enforcement Division wants to say thank you for being a team player in this timely long process to City Manager, LPD Chief, Municipal Court, Roads Department, and citizens of Lovington. And this is one of our big goals for the month of January. That's all.
Questions?
Questions?
Good job.
Clean up
Thank
one
you.
house at a time. The last thing I have is, police department's a little congested as far as the lobby goes, construction going on. So just be aware of that if you need to come to the police department to get records or accident report or something of that nature. That's all I have. That's the questions.
All right. Questions, Commissioners? I see none. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Fire Chief.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, so the same as PD, we have work that is starting in our station this week. We're getting new flooring throughout the whole building. This is part of the capital outlay building upgrades. So we're gonna kind of have the same problem with some congestion, but the front office will be accessible for the ladies. I have a lot of numbers here.
Okay.
So the numbers for December, we had 255 EMS calls, 65 interfacility transfers, 67 cancel refusal DOA, 10 airport, 12 Tatum, and 39 fire calls. So the last quarter for last year, we had 760 EMS, 169 interfacility transfers, 183 cancel refusal DOA, 28 airport, 36 Tatum calls, and 66 fire calls. So for the year of '24, that put us at 2,893 EMS calls, 633 interfacility transfers, 784 refusal cancel DOA, 183 airport, 125 calls to Tatum, and then 256 fire calls. So, and we did most of that with limited personnel, so this extra people are helping a lot. The emergency alarms have been tested every month for the last like 6 months, and they've been working correctly. I've had the police department, they've been helping us with that. We have somebody at every alarm when we set them off, and they've all been working really good. So, all the firework vendors did receive the updated fireworks safety and noise ordinance before New Year's, and I'm assuming they gave all those out to all their customers. Other than that, that's all I have. I will stand for questions.
Questions?
One question.
Go ahead.
On all our all our personnel that we froze, they're all frozen, right? You have everybody
Yes, sir,
that we
everybody
froze
is.
during
Yes, sir.
COVID, so, okay, great.
We managed to unfreeze the 3 that were frozen with the grant money that we got, and then with the Norley contract, we were able to hire 3 more. So right now, we are at a total of 8 personnel per shift, which is the most our fire department has ever had.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
ISO still says with our public, with our population, we need 9, but 8 is way better than we've ever had.
And we're operating out of the other one?
Yes,
The
sir.
other-
We have 4 people in Station 2 and 4 people at Station 1. If, of course, vacation, sick, it kind of fluctuates. Sometimes there may only be 2 at Station 2, but we are using it, yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. Guess that's it, Fire Chief.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Commissioner Bolt.
Well, thank you for all being here, and I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to commissioners, staff members, people of the community. Again, 2024 is behind us, hoping to do better things in 2025. I'd like to, again, stress about buying local, shopping local, eating local. That's very important for our community, so that we do that, thank you. And I also just wanted to bring up a person here who was in contact with us, Raul Alma Gutierrez, stating a Main Street, main sewer line behind the old Wells Fargo building. Issues, clog, collapse, no flow, replaced his side all new.
Yes, sir, I saw that on Facebook as well. I'm gonna talk to Robert Perez about that.
Okay, I'd like to make sure that we do
Thank
and
you.
keep me
Yeah.
posted on it.
I did see that post.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Trio.
I'm good, thank you, just happy
Commissioner
New
Pyatt.
Year.
All right. Commissioner Gandy.
Happy New Year.
All right. Ms. Cooper. Nothing at this point? All right. City manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, I have no staff comment tonight. I did deliver to each of you a year-end city report. I hope you found it informative. I do have one action item later, but I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Okay, questions? Okay. Moving along, Ms. Ball.
Mayor and Commissioners, so NMDOT, met with them last week. They're opening up Adams intersection. Jefferson is still closed, and they'll be closing Madison next. Then possibly within the next week or 2, it will be closed onto Jackson Street for the final phase of the project to get kicked off.
All right.
So they're adding, typically their segments were 1,100 feet each. So they're adding 400 feet onto this segment to make it 1,500 feet. However, that'll alleviate the possibilities of any supply chain issues with pipes and get the project done quicker. So the closure will be a little longer than the previous ones, but it's in the efforts of completing the project hopefully by April.
They have the pipe in supply, because they were able to start the stockpiling after we had so many issues with that before. So the pipe coming in is not an issue, the only thing that'd be slowing them down would be weather concerns.
So November?
They say March.
They said in November.
I just asked what year.
I was just throwing some names out there.
I have a question just for emergency responses.
Mhm.
So you say they're closing up through Jackson. Are they gonna close the intersection of Jackson as?
So I did ask them to keep that intersection open as long as they possibly could till they have to get that drain pipe in that area.
And I was just asking, like I said, for emergency responses, and because of Jefferson and Jackson,
Correct,
that would also be plugged with the schools,
yes.
school traffic.
So that is one thing I did discuss with them, and they're hoping, they'll actually have Jefferson open within a couple of weeks.
Can our street department check the alleyway behind the donut shop? Because I go to the donut shop. And since everybody's gonna have to travel, there's a big old pothole behind there. There's 2 of them if they can fill them in. Since they won't have access to the.
No, that is going
Yeah.
to be the donuts access,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you're right, that's a nasty one.
Yeah, nasty.
Well, thank goodness you go to the donut
Yeah, I
shop.
know, I could.
Good thing we have a new.
Could tell, that's why I got my shirt untucked, going gain weight.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Is that all, Ms. Paul?
That's all. I have an item later on.
But sure. Counselor?
Mayor and Commissioners, at our last meeting, Commissioner Bolt asked me about an update with Chevron and the well field. I did talk to Kristen Quiroz and asked her what her availability was. She was unavailable today, but I think by the next meeting in January, we should be able to get her plugged in, have a closed session put on there for our standard reasons for pending or threatened litigation. The other thing is I don't have anything new to report on. I may have some comments based on one of the items on the agenda, but I'd be happy to stand for any questions if you have any.
Questions? Hearing none. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I just would like to say Happy New Year to everyone. Glad you're here tonight, and I'm looking forward to a hopefully a healthy and prosperous year for us. So that will move along to our non-action items. I guess
Want to do public comment first?
No.
Oh,
I'm all excited, you jumped past it, but we know, hey, I figured I'd give them at least 3
tried
seconds.
to get right through it. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I looked ahead and passed right over it. All right, this brings us to our public comment time. We ask that if you have something to that you would like us to hear, come to the podium. Please state your name and then tell us what you want to hear in 3 minutes or less.
Mayor, Commissioners, Happy New Year. Here, Ken Boyson. The water bill. I've had concerns from seniors, from several seniors at the senior center. When is the bill going to be fixed? Like, when's it going to come out to regular time? Like, we got our bill Friday. The maximum due date, the penalty due date is like Thursday. That's 5 days to pay the water bill. And a lot of us are on fixed incomes. We schedule our payout on all of our bills, and when they don't come in and stuff like that, I've told them to come down here and talk to the water department. Some of them can, some of them can't, because of transportation and all that stuff. And this is the second month going on this. And they would like some answers.
Can you please let them know there will be no late charge by this month?
Okay. Because according to the bill, there is a
It's
late
Wednesday.
charge. Wednesday.
We're gonna waive it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Boyson, first I'd like to just apologize. That's my responsibility to get those bills out on time. There's a lot of things that may arise in the bill process. It's not just simply, let's click a button, you know. As much as I wish it was, it's not. There's a lot of review that goes into the bills, mostly so people don't get ridiculous large amounts of quantity billed to them by mistake. And my hope with this month is to get them out as soon as possible. And that's the only thing that I can say is just simply, it's my fault.
Right. And I understand that, being a federal retiree, but a lot of seniors don't understand that. All they do, they see a bill, they see a date on it, you know, and they see an amount. If they can't make that in 5 days, they see the bill going up, that's all they see.
No, I understand the perception of those things, and I try to be, I'm inundated with calls throughout the day, especially on these days that
Right.
the bills too, but they're always, you can let them know, straight from me, that they're always welcome to come speak to me. I
Right,
know
that's what, you know, a lot of them
yeah,
can't.
I know
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard, and especially with phone calls, I try to get to them as best as I can. But my main goal is to help the people of Lovington with any issues that they may have when it comes to
Sure.
to their bills.
And with me being the president of the board of the senior center, and they knew I come down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I get
Right,
I get it on my end, you know, their end, which is understandable.
You know, at any time you may have someone that, you know, one of the senior citizens, or, you know, your group that may have any issues where they, they can't get down here. If they would like to let you know, and I see you almost every day.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So you are always welcome to speak, come and speak to me, just as we speak, whenever I
Right.
see you.
I'm just hoping that this is the second month running on
Yes,
this
sir.
thing. I hope it doesn't continue to run.
Right, and my best efforts will be made to not continue that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. That note. On the other note is, I requested a couple of months ago to have my neighborhood, the fire hydrant painted, there's 3 of them, and the street painted red. And along with the, in front of the mailbox, on my end of the street, get painted red because people are parking there, the people can't get in there, and blocking in the one corner, on Carter on the west side, they parked right there, and if there was a fire, the fire trucks couldn't get in there to hook up as easy. And there's one at the dead end street on Q, it's the same thing. And I just wonder when it's gonna get done. I'd like to have it done. I've approached the city, and I've approached several other people who have contacts, who know people who can get it done, but it hasn't gotten done yet. So now I'm bringing it to the commissioners to see if we can get it done, because it's a hazard. And I think every fire hydrant in the city, the curb should be painted red for no parking. Because you can go along here and see it, see them done, there are people parking in front of them and everything else.
Then we'd have to paint it 15 feet in either direction.
Right. And some of them, the ones I see, they're not even painted, and
I'm gonna say probably 100% of them aren't painted on the curbs.
and you go in any given day, I've seen semi blocking fire hydrants.
So most of the hydrants should be painted red, except for maybe some of the new ones that they've installed that may not be red. Do you know if they have like a tape around the top, like a different color, like an orange or red?
Yeah, yellow, it's just
Okay.
above the neck.
Yes, sir.
Where the neck
So
starts.
that's our flow rate. That lets us know what flow rate that hydrant has. So they've done that, they just haven't painted
Can I
it.
add something with that tape on the fire hydrants? 'Cause I have a fire hydrant in my yard, and those tapes do not last.
No, every time they test, they have to redo the tape.
And
Every
mine
year.
has never been tested.
According to my records, we outsource that. The fire department doesn't do that. Water department doesn't do that. We outsource that and we pay a company to come in and do that. So.
Right. But the one that they did on Carter there, right just past 9th and Carter and Q, on the one side, looks real nice. Curb looks real nice, fire hydrant's been painted, looks real nice. But that's the only one. It missed the other 2 on Carter and Q, on the west side. And with that, I'll have a good evening and New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Kevin, can I ask a question? I also received a call this morning, similar, that, receiving it on Friday or Saturday, and I assured the lady that any late fees would not be incurred. What is your projected, since we have moved the billing date to the 15th, what is your projected mail out?
I would
day?
hope to have it done by the mid-20s of each month, but unfortunately this month in particular, I don't want to go into excuses in terms of,
No.
but that is my main goal, is to have it done by the 25th of each month, essentially. But there's unfortunately circumstances that may arise, sometimes outside of the city of Lovington, that may inhibit that. So, like I said, yeah, I'm willing to fully take responsibility for that in these last few months. and I do apologize. But yeah, like I said, like I told Mr. Boydston, we're planning this week, I mean, to get started on that billing now, so we're not behind, you know. Already start working on those bills, so hopefully, by next week, they'll be sent up.
Okay. I realize there's probably various problems. Are these problems, do we have solutions for these problems?
Yes, so right now, yes, so we're sort from the moment that we updated the rates.
Right.
Those rates essentially discovered some other problems, but because of our billing window and how we bill, and this is carried on, we bill, so this latest current bill that people got is actually for November. So we kind of have to go back, we discovered these issues in November, right? So let's say we discover someone's meter is malfunctioning, right? So now we essentially have to fix that mistake. If we were to find a meter that is not working properly, we have to kind of fix that later down the road, right? When that billing window comes. So, yeah, there may be a lot of those issues that we see, we're finally getting handle of them now, if that makes sense. Because people's bills have now caught up. We try to help people out with leaks that we have quite a bit. So one of the main things right now that I'm battling is getting people to fix their leaks. Once we get those fixed, then we can help them out by doing adjustments based on how our ordinance says it. But there's, like I said, there's many problems that arise that, I mean, I could get into now, we would take up the whole day. So,
That's okay.
so it's just a matter of, for me, it's a matter of preparing even earlier than I thought to do the bill, right?
Do you think it's a staffing? You might lack it. The only reason why I state that, because you stated earlier that you have an open door policy. If you're getting overwhelmed by 10 or 3 people per day and you're sitting in your office listening to somebody argue about their water bill and you're not being productive because you're emphasizing on all the.
And I try. I mean, that, to me, it's something that has to be done. You know, in terms of, and I mean, I think in terms of staffing, I think it's quite funny because it wouldn't matter if I had 3 or 6 people. They don't want to hear from the clerks, the customers. They want to hear it from me, and that's the issue I have that yes, you're correct. I do spend a lot of time just speaking with people and sitting and explaining to them, the rates and what may be going wrong on their property. But that, I mean, it's a necessity to me, right? We deal with, these are the people that pay our bills, right? So they deserve to be, to have an explanation and a solution to their bills. So it's, like I said, it wouldn't matter if I had 5, 6, 7 people. It's the perception of the authority is what, gets the point across to people.
And Commissioner Trujillo, to also touch on your question, over the weekend I reached out to Aaron Burke of Resource Wise. He's presented to the commission before. He's very knowledgeable. As we all know, Kevin's a very intelligent young man, but he can only deal with one customer at a time. Even though he's not cheap, I am going to bring in Aaron Burke again to kind of help us get over this hump and catch up. And because, as Kevin said, doing all this exposed some problems. And he has helped run the water offices in Eunice and Jal, and he's very familiar with our infrastructure, so that should give us some relief too.
Thank you.
One thing I would like to ask is, the lady that called me this morning, was concerned, she was really, that the city would think she wasn't trying to pay her bill. And I know that's a pretty trivial thing to us, but it was a great deal of anxiety to her. She said, I just got it on Thursday or Friday, whatever day it arrived at her house. And she said, I sent it out the same day. I hope it gets there by Wednesday, which I'm sure it will. And I assured her, if we have a late billing, you might have a note, and did not look at the bill, so I have no idea. Put in there, the city was late. You have either extend the days or put in there that we're not going to charge late charges. Please remit as quickly as possible, or whatever, because she was truly anxious about not so much that we were gonna charge her a late charge, it was just like, I want them to know that I would never not pay my bill, and I'm like, well, that's admirable, but Billy couldn't tell her anything other than, I hope it doesn't, continue or happen again, but rest assured that we're not going to charge you because of the late notice. So, anyway, just a thought,
Yes, sir.
I'm sure there's others out there like that.
Yes, and I do, like I said, I do have a lot of mostly elderly citizens that have that concern. And I try to, like I said, try to explain to them as best that I can and alleviate those anxieties. I enjoy talking with most of our senior citizen demographic that we have here in the city, because they always love to chat. So I'm always, my door, like I said, my door is always open, especially to them.
Thank you. All right, we're still in public comment. Anyone else have anything they would like to bring to their attention? Seeing no one jumping up and moving on, we're moving on. All right, brings us to our non-action items.
So I have a comment, or I have a question before we move on.
Absolutely.
So in the next deal, we have a resolution for the library board. I do not know any of the people that, does anybody know either one of them?
I just don't marry.
I don't know either
back
one.
on it, that's all.
Oh,
You want back on it, you said?
No, Mary said she wanted back on.
no, you're on the wrong one.
Board, okay.
That's a senior citizen. This is the library. I didn't
It's two
know.
people,
library,
and I don't know either one of those two.
Oh, me neither.
I know, yeah,
Just the
I didn't
two that
either.
wanted the
This
position.
is, I know,
Those two.
Bruce, Joe Bruce.
Okay. Bruce as well? I just didn't know before I made the motion, then we had a huge discussion of nothingness, and then,
Right.
so. Somebody got a quarter?
Do what?
Somebody got a quarter?
Okay.
I need a quarter.
I don't have one. No, but
You got a quarter? You got a quarter?
here, just
You need to flip it.
Yeah, I need some of that.
Oh, here you
Is
go.
the
I got
one
that.
that is currently
You got that
there
quarter
ready?
out, flip on your phone?
No, one is stepping down, one is seeking reappointment. There's another position that's open.
We got a quarter.
There's two people vying for that.
Would it help the
Okay.
board in these situations if maybe each applicant prepared a short bio or something?
Or
that you could-
come or something,
Well, I mean,
Just so you know what.
sometimes I know people or they've approached persons, but I don't know either one of these people, and how do even if the board, the library board said, they preferred one or the other, or that they probably don't care, it's just one place there, but I just don't know.
You could do a better job of preparing you, informing you who these applicants are, maybe in person, or at least through a bio on paper. That way you can make an educated guess.
Yeah, so we're doing a coin guess today. I'm going to say that Macbeth is heads and the other one is tails. How about that?
Okay.
So it depends if you want to work on it. You want to do it again? Is that better?
There we go.
No, how do you flip a coin like you don't even flip it?
Doesn't it? Flip the coin.
No.
Okay. You have the results, right?
Flip the
It's
coin.
tails.
He's got it.
No, you're
Flip the
good.
coin. No,
It was
no.
tails.
No.
Yeah, it's tails twice, so.
Well, there you go. That was
There you go, Beth Lewis. Okay, all right,
Because
here we
he went
go.
like this.
It's okay.
Hey, don't mind, you just flip the coin. All right, Mr. Mayor,
Whoa,
after
whoa,
long
whoa.
discussion.
No, we're on the discussion item.
Oh, what discussion item?
Non-action.
Oh,
The non-action.
I want. I already talked about it. Okay, there you go. Oh, the truck ordinance thing.
Yes.
Lord.
Okay. All right. Since I asked for this deal, our code enforcement has prepared a short video, I guess is the right term, of some of the items that they are incurring, or that they are finding. I actually have one of these, so I'll take that.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Same one I have, but
Mayor,
anyway.
I thought everybody else might
This
appreciate it.
one's in my hand, so.
Yep.
All right, so go ahead and kind of give some descriptions, and then this will be a part of it, and then we're gonna probably add just a little bit more to it. So.
Okay, so, Code Enforcement Division has, come into a issue with the 18-wheelers in Lovington. So not only within city limits, but also commercial, economic zone. So for instance, here is a truck parked right across from, let's say, the courthouse, fire department. You know, there's where residential homes are, right in front of the fire, well, what should it be?
Eddie Street.
Yeah. Eddie Street. So Eddie Street's a very big problem area that we have been working with since last year. So everybody claims, the property owners claim that it's a commercial street. They're allowed to have 18-wheelers parked there, semi-trucks. According to the ordinance, if they're gonna have parking, they should have a special permit to park 18-wheelers. This is the result of letting 18-wheelers park in the commercial area. There is accumulated junk where they do mechanical, where they do, brine oil, brine water, and diesel is built. You can see all the items back there. There's tires, whatnot. This is so you see more, and these are different days. This is a different property on Eddie. You see the wet brown there? That's brine water. It's where they're washing out their tanks. Okay, why is 18-wheeler bad for the city of Lovington? And here I explain on city streets they're damaging our streets still, and manholes, etc. Down Eddie Street, on the east side of Eddie Street, there is a manhole right across from 609 North Eddie. There's a manhole that has been run over, many times been replaced by the sewer department. Their sewer department has placed a cone. It came down to placing a cone on that manhole. These 18-wheelers are removing the cone. The drivers are removing the cone still to go down the alleyways and streets.
Not to mention they break our water and sewer lines.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because I guess, I'm not sure if they don't realize that their trucks are heavy. 18-wheelers are speeding down residential and commercial districts, posing threats to residents and road users and all. We've seen them speeding down North Main late at night, early morning. The noise. We get a lot of complaints about noise, which is when the driver of the 18-wheeler is parked in a residential zone and they turn on their truck, and it's loud. Retired individuals are mostly the ones, coming and complaining to us about early hour noise, and late at night where they, I guess, come home and park their semis. They're not only in residential homes, but also in commercial districts. Just because commercial district, there are residential homes right across the street. Homeowners are complaining that 18-wheelers are parking their trucks right in front of their homes and leaving less space for them to park and their guests. And not to mention their air quality. The numbers are okay for today for the city of Lovington, but can increase if we don't come up with a solution on how to redirect 18-wheelers to industrial districts. Air quality is very important to the human body, how trees, plants, etc., animals. This is a online website that anybody can go to. Right now, January 11th, this was taken, and it's at 15. The highest was 18. If you go to this website, it will explain to you what the air quality graph for the city of Lovington is. This is the levels. So as you can see, 0 to 50, we're okay. But if we continue to let 18-wheelers park in the commercial zone, which is near the residential zones, here on East Eddy, South Eddy, we get to, let's say, even the yellow part of the numbers, which is 51 through 100, it's gonna affect a lot of the residents here in the city of Lovington. So information on how to report 18-wheelers. You take a picture of the 18-wheeler, including license plate and DOT and the MCI number to the truck. The address, if unsuccessful, cross streets should work. You go to this website, Safer, fmsa.org. It's kind of like a safer web. This website is free. And you can look up information which will tell you, once you input those numbers, which could be either the license plate or DOT or the MCI number or all of it, it will tell you information about the owner, where the owner lives, when the owner got the business license or their DOT for their company, if they're expired, and what they're hauling, the drivers and how many employees they have under their license. Addresses, phone numbers, any type of DOT violations or any violations that they have come in contact with the law will be on their website once you look that up. So this not only goes with the truck, it also the trailer. We all know they have different license plates. So if you can get both, because sometimes the truck has a different information. So when you do, you can look both of them up. And what I tell everybody, just call those numbers. And most of the time, the owners are not aware that these drivers are parking where they're not supposed to. And this is one way to report the 18-wheeler trucks. This is at nighttime. Now, as you can see, they're using this property as a parking. The parking that I had spoken of at the beginning of this presentation, you would need a special permit for this. This has been an ongoing issue with this property. And you know, again, this one is a different one from earlier. They have diesel spills, brine water, they're doing mechanical, and at times leaving a whole bunch of junk, trash, tires. This is how the city of Lovington's gonna end up dead pigeons if
We welcome it
I don't see the
sometimes.
negative of that part.
I don't either, actually, but that's
the brine
We know how to
water
get rid of the pigeons on the theater.
at this property in the daytime. So they're dropping off tankers, then they're leaving, then they're driving back, dropping those off, picking up those. And then now they have vehicles, you know, just regular vehicles, and parking them also there. Well, I'm guessing the driver gets on their 18-wheeler and leaves and then comes back after a week or a day of work. And that's all I have. Did you have any questions?
Questions for these ladies?
No, I would just, I don't know if it's you or Mr. Miranda can get somebody together, what is gonna be the in solution to everything? Is it, and then a time frame? And I mean, I was just saying, if we do pass an overall ordinance to ban all trucking inside the city limits, you know, at least you have to give them a time frame, because a lot of people would have to move and you know, move their, but then,
Business.
you know, once you set a date, it's a date, and that from that day on, it's we have to be, I don't know, but it's legal counsel though too has to get, well, you know. so it's
Well, I
got-
think if we take a look at the problems we're having, one, I think, was these commercial vehicles parked on residential streets.
Yes,
I think we have something that covers that.
yes,
So we don't need anything new, we just need to enforce what we have.
yes.
If they're speeding, we have regulations against speeding, so we don't need anything new, we just enforce what we have. If they're parking on the street in a commercial zone, that still violates one of our ordinances. So we don't need anything new, we just need to enforce what we have. When it comes to the issue of air quality, I don't know if the city is in the position or has authority to regulate that. It's certainly a good point. I think the issues about cleaning out tanks, spilling produced water, those kinds of things are certainly issues, but may come under nuisance. I think what the city really has to look at is, do you want to continue to have trucks in truck yards or trucking companies in commercial areas? And so historically, I don't think we've had that many trucking companies here. It's certainly grown over the last couple of oil booms, and we may not have adjusted for it, but that's going to be one of the issues. I think if you looked at it, you know, a commercial zone, if there's residences in that commercial zone and we let that happen, you start to have some conflict between somebody that doesn't want to hear the truck start at 3 in the morning, but you're living in a commercial zone. So we really need to take a look at how does the city want to do that? Do we want to rezone? Or do we want to make a change to what's an acceptable use in commercial? All that takes a little bit of time and money, but I think it's really important for us to identify, like we started, what are the problems? Do we have something that's already on the book to address that problem? And in some instances we do. That's what we need to do. In some instances we don't. And so the biggest thing I see is, what do you want to do about trucking companies in a commercially zoned property? So I don't know if they would fall into industrial, so they're probably commercial, but if that's what you need to address, if you don't want to see that or have that activity in a commercial zone, then we really need to take a look at changing the zoning and how do we do that fairly for companies that have, you know, they moved into a commercial zone and now we're changing it. Is that something that we really need to address? I don't know. There's certainly problems that are up there that we see, but that's really the biggest sticking point I see, is how to deal with truck companies, parking, mechanics, you know, changing tires, having parts trucks sit out there. What do you do in a commercial zone?
Well, I put this, you know, this discussion item on there. One of the things that I would add in is truck traffic in the city. As I was explaining earlier in some of the discussions, I know in the past week I've been asked 20 times, you know, when we're going to get Main Street open. We've endured this for nearly 4 years that I know of. And since we've taken Main Street down to one lane of traffic, if we continue to allow truck traffic, then it effectively doubles the amount of wear and tear on Main Street. And we all know that our road life is very limited in this area. And are we going to endure 4 years to turn around and have to do it again in 10 or less years? So these items, I'm sorry, I promise I'll give you a second. The reason I brought this on there is, does this commission feel like this is a problem? Is it a priority problem? And do we really want to seek some solutions to this problem? Because we've literally lip serviced it for the past 2 or 3 years, and even longer than that. We've been looking at truck ordinances in the city of Lovington for a long time. Do we really want to seek solutions, or do we just want to go on down the road and deal with the consequences? So You know, the city manager and his staff are looking for direction. If this is a priority, then let's make it a priority. If it's not, then let's quit talking about it and let these ladies do something else.
But I think going back in history now, it's always been a priority. It's just things had to be in place in order to allow that to happen. If you go back to Commercial Street over here, it was a two-phase project because the state had to, we had to have on 17th and Commercial, we had to get them two roads approved for heavy traffic, yes, sir.
Right.
And once we got, it was like and they were multi-million-dollar projects, so it's just like we couldn't afford it overnight. And so we did it in phases. Now we're approved. Now we're in the position where we can pass an ordinance, and the state most likely we won't get put. Before we got pushed back by the state because it's always been our objective to get them to utilize the commercial streets versus the center of Lovington plus parking on the side. But it's been you know, you have to meet it.
Well, I think we had to have those bypasses in place, so you couldn't just say, you can't drive your semi-truck through the middle of town, but you've got nowhere else to go. So, you know, going out around 457 or east of town is not acceptable. So I think part of it is getting with the state, saying, okay, you just spent millions and millions of dollars, and the townspeople suffered through a long period of time and not being able to cross the street and doing other things. Give us some assistance on having truck traffic come through. And so I think that's a combination of educating some of the drivers about the route that are available, and then also some enforcement. Some of that enforcement may include like DOT having enforcement, because I think their fines are going to be a little bit better than what the city of Lovington would have. And it also reduces some of the stress on our people as far as the workload. We also have to take into consideration, though, even if we have those bypass routes and you leave commercially zoned places on Love and Eddy, they've got to get from somewhere to those places.
That's
right. So I think, you know, a lot of it is going to be, what do you want to do? Because that's the real sticky thing. I don't think the state's going to push back, considering how much money they just spent on the roads. But we really need to take a look at, you know, like how many tickets do we issue for a commercial vehicle parked in a residential zone? I don't know. How many do we issue for speeding? How many do we issue for, and I won't put Joe on the spot because he probably doesn't have those numbers off the top of his head. But I think all of that is important to really take a look at, well, what do we do next? Do we have something to fix some of these issues? I think we do. It's just a matter of some warm bodies enforcing them. But there are some others that we really need to think about. Commercial property, do we make a change? And then how do we get some assistance from the state on Avenue D, because that's one of them also, and also Main Street. So.
Could you, for like the spills and stuff, it don't matter what they do, these trucks, they're gonna leak.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Could
it's
you
like
bring
saying we're gonna
EPA
outlaw
in? No, what I'm
car
saying is though,
accidents.
could you bring EPA in though, and EPA, if they start giving out these big fines, these trucks are gonna have to say, we either find somewhere else to park or we're gonna keep paying these big fines just off of that alone.
Well, I think it would be the Oil Conservation Division that issues the authorization to transport for each one of them. The OCD is really difficult to have them come down and take a look. They always give you an excuse that's not in the budget. And the people that work the local office here, the ones that I know, don't do that part of it. So I think it's going to be the city getting creative to go out and maybe take a sample and say, okay, there's chlorides that are much higher than background level. There's coming from these trucks, and you know, whether it meets our nuisance or something like that, that's another option too. But we really need to identify what are the problems that we're trying to fix. And based on those problems, then we can come up with, do we enforce what we have, or do we come up with a new ordinance to address that? And that's really where we are, whether it's trucking or anything else.
Part of the police department, it's like, I've asked this question is, when a semi-truck, say like Walmart, is coming from Artesia, it doesn't direct them to go around the truck bypass.
I agree.
So I don't understand how to change that, to say, if you wanna go to Hobbs, then take the bypass, it'll take you around that way. No, they wanna go straight downtown and try to turn down Main Street.
Well, like in Andrews, if you go to Andrews, you learn real quick that if you bypass the loop, they write you a nice little citation. And there's a sign that says, per ordinance, you better go this way,
Yeah.
you won't enjoy the other.
Right.
You know, so we'll have to come up with a sign program that says, hey, from this point here, this is your last, unless you absolutely, but there's not, very seldom, except maybe with wastewater and different, like, are they gonna need a vacuum truck running down some alleyway because we got some stuff? That's fine, we can work around that, but, you know, you got 30 guys coming out to leave to go to Orla at 4 o'clock in the morning, running down 3 alleyways and 9th Street, 45 miles an hour, you know?
Yeah.
So, but there's a way to address that, you know? I know for the longest time, you know, my guys have gotten guilty of it themselves. It's just straight and easy to go straight through town as it is to fight the traffic at Maverick or to fight the traffic at the hospital. Because every time you pull around, you know, you got somebody running late to the hospital at 60 miles an hour around the corner, or I'm trying to catch up with them because they forgot their paperwork. One of the two. But, you know, so there's some other issues there that we need to be able to work or manage, you know. We got the turn lane straightened up a little bit, but still, people still think there's 2 turn lanes there, and it never fails every time I try to drive a truck through there and I take out at least one of the cars.
Right.
You know, because that curve's such a horrible curve. Because we got a fire hydrant on the way.
Chief, I would ask NMDOT about how to get with Google Maps, because I'm sure they routinely do it, about how to change recommended route.
Yeah, and I've asked the guys locally here, and it's
Yes,
like,
John Lotta?
I think you turn into Google.
it's like, I didn't know.
He just did it last
I
month.
didn't.
Yeah, they don't.
He just did it last month. They were driving through the neighborhood, and that's where my house is listed as a building. It's not listed as a residence. It's listed as a building. Because of that whole, 2nd Street all the way to commercial. Crossing over Main Street, crossing over all of the Love Street, all the way back, it's all commercial zone, all of it. So that's why they feel they can park it and live there, because it's a commercial zone.
Right.
And also, they sit there and park their tractors in their driveway, like on M&N and on First Street. And there's been a tractor on, like on First Street by the seniors, by the youth center, been there for about 4 years. Parked up 10 feet from the front door. They started giving tickets and everything out, just like they started coming back on the football parking lot, and the guy lives right across the street. And the guy started parking just right across on 9th Street, down here by the tennis courts, and he lives right across the street. You know, they start coming back because it's a new year now, and things are like dying down, but no one's giving tickets.
You have to tell the high school to call them in because that's private property. They have to tow it themselves.
What about the guy that's parked right there on 9th Street? Right there by tennis courts, and he walks right across the street with that. You give him a ticket for that, because that's not,
We
you know.
need to follow.
Or what about the guy that?
Hang on, Tim, we need to follow the guidelines of a meeting. So I think we're kind of like going off track here. I think we need to go back to the discussion with what's on the agenda, find the solution and move forward. I know we can argue about it all day long, but that's what we're here for. That's what's on the agenda. So let's get back to business.
Okay, are a lot of these trucking companies, vehicles, what we're talking about, are they local trucking companies? Local?
Is that considered a business where all those trucks are parked in a row? Did we give them a business license to park there? Or is it just a commercial home and there happen to be parking there?
They just happen to be parking there.
Okay, so we need to like limit 1 to 2 trucks or whatever at a commercially based home.
No,
But if you have
there's
business-
no home, you can't have that. You cannot have that.
Reading up here, collaboration with trucking companies. If these are vehicles that are in the city, that these are companies that we're dealing with here, first thing it says, partner with local trucking companies to educate drivers educate the companies.
Yes.
So you need to go to the companies and talk to them and tell them that you guys are gonna be doing this, you're gonna get fined, you're gonna get tickets. Just to let them know.
Two of them that, and they're fighting us. Shooting.
And then pull them over and give them tickets.
And that's
And we
why
need to
I-
see that we have substantial fines also attached to these tickets
That's why I asked to have the.
to make them realize that, okay, this isn't a walk in the park anymore. It's gonna start coming out of our pockets.
So code enforcement division has been citing them since I've started code enforcement.
But
Excuse me,
you
since
can't-
I started.
you
since
can't pull
the
them over,
judge-
though.
No, since the judge has come in, you know, since we've had a judge. Anyway, I've been citing them for parking,
Okay.
for parking. But what they do is they pay their fine. Then we cite them, they pay their fine.
It's
So
$25.
we need to raise our fines, that's why I've asked to put down. It's like, it's not going anywhere.
That's
It's
why I
still
said
the
we
same.
need to make these fines more substantial, that they're affecting them, that they're saying, okay, this $25 fine is now a $500 fine, or a $1,000 fine.
Yes.
So apparently we need to get with our judge and have discussion with
Ordinance
them.
change, because those fines are set in ordinance, so.
What's that?
It's an ordinance change because
Right.
those fines are set in ordinance.
Right, well, I'm saying that we can talk with the judge and have discussion with him and see what he would feel that would be appropriate.
Does the state mandate some of those fees or fines or different things
So-
we have to get with them also, won't we?
Right.
NMDOT has told me that if we had an ordinance limiting truck traffic on Main Street, that they would help enforce that, but we would have to have that ordinance in place. And again, that goes back to what Scotty was saying, that this is the ordinance, you'd have to have that posted outside the city coming in, that this is the ordinance. If you are not due for deliveries, you are not to use past this junction of the, basically you'd put it out by like 17th, coming in before 17th. This, you must, all trucks must turn here unless you have immediate deliveries within the city limits.
How are they gonna help us enforce it? Because they don't pull over the trucks anymore. We don't have, state police once in a while does, but
Yeah.
NMDOT does not do traffic enforcement.
When we call them to come and help us with inspection and stuff, there's none on duty or.
We only have 5 statewide, so.
Exactly.
It's really up to
Maybe one
us.
is down here.
It's really
Okay,
up to us.
the question,
Place
or
the
the
ordinance
purpose
and
of
start
this
enforcing it.
discussion
Mhm.
was to, one, see if there's any objection from this commission to ask the city manager to prioritize this. And if we are going to move in that direction, then let's give him some direction as to presenting some, he's gonna have to dedicate staff and resources to this, and give him a reasonable date to have something come before us, something to present, and if that's the way, then let's move in that direction. And is there any objection to moving this to a higher priority from this commission? All right, so.
And Mr. Mayor, I just add one thing to your point about the cost and the time and the pain we've endured with Main Street. Maybe we could take a small baby step at first, and for the historic Main Street, whether you want to take it from Avenue E to Jackson, start there, designate that part of Main Street as historic Main Street, 0 tolerance except for local deliveries, put a new ordinance in. The most the municipal court can fine is $500, make it a $500 fine, have the police department, and that way we can test it out, and if it works, expand it maybe in some of the zones. It's just a thought.
No, I totally agree. I'm thinking that from the city part of it, I think we do need to let them know, by signage or whatever.
Yes.
This is.
0 tolerance.
Well, first of all, we need to reference an ordinance, I would say.
Or create one.
Or create one, but if we're gonna create, first of all, let's find out what we have rather than creating something that's already on the books or recreating.
Well, that's why we designate Main Street as a historic Main Street, give it a zone, and then we can apply that ordinance to that, whatever it is, 11-block stretch or 10-block stretch.
We have the historic district already.
Right, and it just preserve the millions that have been spent. As you said, there'll be 1 lane now, and start with that. And maybe the message will get
They're
out.
just gonna go
Well,
below
if we go off of that, then the projected open date
We need to set up
has been
truck
stated as
bypass.
April.
So,
So let's have something ready to go before we
We need to
open
have
that
a
part.
Designated truck bypass. Both directions.
And, yeah, and then we need to work on,
Raising funds.
we've got a lot of work to do. It's gonna take a lot of time and manpower. But if we don't get started, we're never gonna get there. So I think you've heard from the commission that this is, let's pick something, let's assist these ladies, and then we need to start evaluating our commercial zones and the problems we have there, and come up with, if we're going to allow them to still have businesses, then let's limit egress and ingress, so that we then have, as we spoke, sacrificial streets that Ms. Ball is gonna have on her radar every 4 or 5 years. We're gonna have to, repave, re-something to them.
like East Avenue are, as an example.
Exactly, yeah. So, anyway, that was the whole thing, is to,
Appreciate the commission's direction. I'll work on
Yeah,
it.
and then one thing to keep in mind, residents have built around commercial. Commercial's already there, because I remember when I lived over there, nobody lived over there. Very few people lived there. I know Scotty brought it up before, years back when he first come on board about commercial and people moving houses into commercial. They moved into commercial, so, now it's a nuisance to the resident versus where they moved to, so, if we would envision what's going on right now 20 years ago, we probably could have made that change, but since we didn't, that's why the culture's in that.
It's a valid
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
You've got a water hauler, mom and pop company that's been there for 30 years, and someone built a home
Next.
across the street 10 years ago, who's got more rights?
Yeah, exactly. I think that, and I'm just saying what Patrick was pretty much echoing what Patrick says. That's all I.
ladies, thank y'all very much, appreciate it. Mr. Gandy?
I wanted to be here about 30 minutes ago, but
Yeah, I hear you.
I done forgot my motion. Damn.
You forgot what the corn flip was.
Yeah, I forgot what side of the coin was. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-001. Appoint or reappointment of library board members. I'd like to reappoint Stephanie and Beth Lewis for Donna Porter stepping down.
Second.
Okay, I've got to ask, I don't know that I understood. You're right.
So Stephanie Kamek is wanted to be reappointed.
Oh, and then the
I had
other lady goes for Donna.
Donna Porter is stepping down.
Okay.
So I made a motion for Beth Lewis to take that position,
I see, okay. Now-
because I flipped the coin and that's the one that
And
came up
that's-
twice.
I understand.
So, because I didn't have any other method to do that with.
Okay. Shannon, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did I have a second? I'm sorry.
Yes, Davidson.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for approval of this consideration. Any further action or discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-002. Appointment, reappointments of senior citizen board members. Mary James, Mary McClure, Sharon Grigsby. Do we have to, Timothy Boydston.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for,
Yes, I do.
We appreciate that.
for approval of this consideration. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-003. Approve advertising of sale of property at 2320 South
Maine.
Second.
Motion second.
I think the only discussion on that was what the price was.
I know, and if you looked, I think, yeah, who officially, do you have this? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Okay.
Mayor, Commissioners, very briefly, we brought this before the commission about a month ago. We had several indications of interest to buy the old A&A title loans down by the track space to the marijuana shop. We were told we needed to do a better job of advertising, which we've worked on that, and that's a generic sign that's going to go, for example, on Tyler as well. At that time, the commission felt that the one bid we received was probably too low for the property, so we were looking for the commission's guidance to go out again for RFP, but with a minimum bid contingency on there. Property was appraised at $65,000. That might be a little rich. It's not a very big property, but it is a good location. So we still think we have interest in acquiring the property, but if you can give us a floor on a minimum price, we can go out for RFP.
Okay.
How many square feet is the building?
We
I
knew
don't
that.
recall.
Seemed like it was 1,500.
It was 1,100, I think, 2 offices. And I think it was wrong on the,
They've changed it up.
1,100 or 11,000?
oh no, it's real small, sir.
Yeah.
It's real small.
Oh, no, I thought you said what the price was of the building.
No, the
No,
square
no,
footage.
square footage.
Okay, yeah. That's why I'm like, what?
I think the appraiser's calculation differed a little bit from what we've got online there. But I think it's 1,100 or 1,400 square foot.
1,200 is $54 a square foot, so. It's still
A good deal.
a good deal, yeah.
I think it's been sitting vacant for about 5 years, 6 years, and the city has not found a use for it.
What would you recommend, Inspector?
Oh, I was
The
just thinking
price?
the 65 divided by 1,200 square foot, is $54 a square foot. Not including
yes.
the frontage property and the acreage, or the amount of
And it's on the
Yeah.
whatever, plus that big old freaking chain you gotta haul.
Exactly.
You know, you
Could
could
use it, they could
least,
use it.
you could at least get $1,000 at the freaking, metal shop, yeah.
Okay.
Chain needs that chain.
No, I don't need anything that heavy. So, I mean, he wants a floor, so, I mean,
Can we start at the appraisal?
yeah.
Give it a little time, and then then we can drop it.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
But
That
no,
$54 a square foot, that, you can't build it for that.
You can't, no.
You can't pour concrete for that.
You can't even destroy it for that.
Nope. I think we should try.
Oh,
$65,000 minimum bid?
Mm-hmm. See what you get.
Okay. We shall do it.
Everybody okay? All right.
Thank you.
Do you want to restate? Shannon, do we need a restatement of you guys?
I would.
Huh?
All right, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion for resolution 2025-00 approve advertising for sale of property at 2320 South Main with a minimum bid of $65,000.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-004. A resolution to approve prepayment of NMED loan number 1438048 in the amount of $1,675,932.23.
Second.
Okay. Second for consideration of this. City manager.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, you've asked me in the past to kind of look at our outstanding debt that the city holds. So I've been able to find, I believe it's 6 or 7 either bonds or loans that the city has, and possibly early retirement of some of that debt. So we started with the low-hanging fruit, and this is something that we can look at today. Can we go to the next slide? Did that make it in? Okay, so the loan I started with is New Mexico Environmental Division loan number 1438048. So the facts of this loan were, the purpose originally of the loan was financing a project to acquire, construct, modify, and otherwise improve the wastewater treatment facilities of the city's joint water and sewer system. The original loan amount was $4 million and signed on March 16, 2004 by Mayor Troy Harris and City Manager Pat Wise. It was amended on November 7, 2006 by Mayor David Trujillo on a new ordinance to increase the loan amount to $5.5 million. The total cost to the city over the total life of the loan will be $6.7 million. This loan is set at a 2% fixed interest rate, and that takes me to an interesting point about, so it was brought up, okay, if we retire a loan that we're only paying 2% on, what are we making in the CDs in our bank account? So I learned some pretty interesting things about Lee County State Bank. We don't have our money, the city's reserve and sweep money in traditional CDs. What they have and what other banks around the state and country have is something called the CDARS, which stands for Certificate of Deposit Account Registry Service. It's a program that allows investors to access FDI insurance on deposits that exceed the standard $250,000 per deposit limit. And it was always interesting to me with our previous auditor, she'd always say, you need to securitize all that money you've got in the bank. Well, we've had it all along. And as you can see, they actually provided a breakdown. For whatever reason, it ends up being, it's just X number of bricks at $248,700 and no cents. So it's just under that FDIC maximum insurable insurance. And these are parked at different institutions around the country and rotated. So consequently, all the money we have in Lee County State Bank is securitized by these CDARs. And they further explain CDARs work by breaking large deposits into smaller amounts and placing them with other banks within the network. The banks then issue CDs and amounts under the standard FDIC insurance maximum. So long story short, as of December, our current interest rate on the CDs held at Lee County State Bank is 3.3%. So we will be retiring debt at 2% with money that we're getting 3.3% on. Now, of course, you all know that 3.3 fluctuates. It's not fixed rate. So that being said, we would give back a little money on that. So the terms, going back to the terms of this loan, the terms were 20 annual payments of $355,563.10 beginning in November 2010, with the last payment scheduled for 2029. And I believe the payments started when the project ended. So even though the loan was taken out in 2006, we didn't start making payments in 2010. We also hold 1 year's payment, $355,000, securitized by CDs held at Estacado and Western Commerce. If we do make early prepayment on this loan, it'll save the city $101,883.27 in interest, costs, and administration fees. So the impact to the city, the loan balance is 1.6 minus the CDs that we have to securitize, 1 year's payment of $355,000, saving on interest and fees of $101,000. So what would actually come out of pocket is $1.2 million to the city. There are no prepayment penalties. We retired this debt, reduced our debt load by over 20%. So it's just kind of drilling down into this loan, which looks like the most eligible for a loan if we wanted to retire any debt. It also allowed me to learn a lot about the CDAR program, and I feel more comfortable now about the city's bank deposits, that they're fully backed by the FDIC. And we can revisit this in 6 months, in a year. I think there's 4 or 5 more payments on this loan. We have another similar one from 2007. that is similar. So I just put it out there to kind of show the commission that this would be the low-hanging fruit if we wanted to take some debt off the table. Otherwise, we can revisit it 6 months or a year from now. So I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Questions?
I just wonder if we paid it off with, I just look at our buying power, you know, just in case we have a hiccup 5 or 6 years down the line, it would give us something to, you know, we won't be in so much debt and we'd have buying power just to compensate whatever may come across. And
As
I
an
mean, I do
example-
that personally with my finances, so I just.
As an example, if we wanted to take out another loan from the NMED, we'd have a zero balance with them. And we wouldn't have to, like, they wouldn't be saying, well, you're coming back to us for a second loan now, you haven't paid off the first one.
Yeah.
Which is 20X years old.
Was that a payment on that thing?
So, I'm sorry, sir?
Was the annual payment?
$355,000 every November.
Brain wasn't working, sorry.
And this comes from, where did the.
New Mexico.
No, where does the revenue come from, the city of Lovington? GRTs, the wastewater treatment plant, or?
The interest we're making at 3.3%, that's.
No,
that-
I'm talking about
Where do you pay
the
the
payment.
payment, the
Payment, where is the
53?
money being drawn from the city to make the payment?
I believe it's a general fund.
General
It's out
fund.
of,
Is it waste-
it's out of.
It's enterprise?
Yeah, it's enterprise.
Water, okay.
It's enterprise.
So they could, currently with our current water rate, it should be able to sustain it. I'm better off than it was 6 months ago. That's what I'm saying.
Where's the money coming out of?
It's coming out of
Enterprise
wastewater.
fund.
Wastewater, enterprise fund.
Water.
We have another one that's coming out of water. This one
Right.
is.
We have the water meters out of the water.
DW, the drinking water 2018, the DW 2018.
Any further question? Okay. My opinion, and we've discussed it, I'm not a big debt person, but,
Cash is good.
well, when you're making more money than you are spending on the interest, then it truly makes no sense to pay off the debt. I am, especially, we're only, at this point, collecting about 1.3% more, but on $1 million, that's $13,000 a year, give or take. So, I'm not opposed to allocating that money. And if interest rates were to basically get close to what we're paying, relieving it at that point. What I would not like to do is somehow down the road get to a point when our GRTs are backing down, if they were to begin backing down, and we no longer had the money to pay it off, then I think that's a bad situation also. But Mr. Miranda just needs some direction at this point. Basically, as my bank believes, we expect at least two more Fed drops in the first 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So we're going to be about a break-even situation here in 6 months.
And this would obviously require a budget adjustment.
Yes.
Do you foresee any big amount of spending, like a big major project at the wastewater treatment plant in the near future that would involve
Yes.
over $1 million?
Yes. We currently have a federal grant for $959,000. We've got about $2 million in grants towards the wastewater treatment plant projects. And but it would be nice to be able to, I'm not saying that NMED wouldn't give us a second loan towards the wastewater treatment plant, but I know.
Or maybe,
It definitely needs.
or maybe we would just pay that cash and on that one.
But if you're making more
Keep
on
this on.
cash sitting in the bank, you need to wait until that drops, then pay it off.
Well, if you're figuring it's gonna drop in 6 months, 6 months is in our fiscal year. So let's roll the dice, make a few extra dimes,
Budget.
And Nichols, probably, Nichols. And then at the end of the year, then we can figure it into our budget, do it all at one time, then we don't have an extra,
Budget adjustment.
budget adjustment with a huge fiscal outflow. It's all figured into one deal, looks like a smoother transition.
And we can always put in our budget, and we can approve it or not approve it, as long as it's in our budget. We know the numbers.
Right.
So that's good.
Would you like to revisit this in May and see if the rates come
I
down?
think that'd be a great idea.
Or if something drastic happens in 3 months, bring it back. Just, because if we're making money.
If it begins to cost us, I think we immediately, the interest on the money drops below the interest on what we're paying, then I think that would be a time, and if not, then 6 months we'll evaluate where we're at.
Thank you.
2.5 or 2.
Any other comment? Shannon? Vote, please.
Commissioner Gandy,
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking no. But I was all excited because I always say no. No!
Say yes.
Commissioner White,
No.
Commissioner Trujillo.
No.
Mayor Roberts,
No.
Commissioner Bolt.
No.
God, I wish I could stay cool like that.
Appreciate the good info, Dave.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Let me pass this.
So then that removes the need for the next one. Wait.
Hold on.
It's all one document, they're just 5
Oh,
pages.
okay.
It's not copies, sorry.
Oh, I
It
see.
just gives you an idea how they break it out into chunks and farm it out to
No,
different
it's
institutions.
5
one.
pages.
Oh.
It wasn't stapled.
Okay, there you go. I have it there.
It is over.
It's a partnership.
Take that home.
All right, Mr. Mayor, let's try this
School.
again. I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-005. Approve budget adjustments fiscal year 2025, third quarter.
Okay, motion and second. Consideration of this resolution. Ms. Coop?
This one was directly tied to the previous resolution, so there's no need for it if we're not doing that.
Aha, okay. We do. Okay. Shannon?
Yes, Commissioner Bolt,
No.
Commissioner Trujillo,
No.
Commissioner White,
No.
Commissioner Gandy,
No.
Mayor Roberts.
I'd love to say yes.
No.
Just for it, I know, I really.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-006, authorize agreement with the Mexico Department of Homeland Security and emergency management for emergency generator at booster station number 1.
Second.
Okay, a motion and second. And we have discussion. Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
Leslie Bolt. So this is a grant for a little over 100,000 for a 350 kW emergency generator as a redundant system for booster station number 1. This, the match on this is about 30,000. I believe you have the numbers there in front of you. This is for an in-kind or monetary donation. So we're not anticipating the entire 30,000 to be spent monetary, but it is a big need for the wastewater department, and we are very happy for Department of
Water Department.
Water and wastewater, excuse me.
Water.
Yeah, he'll always keep me in line. So this is the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and it's part of their hazard mitigation program. So we're very happy that they approved giving us this money.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Hearing none, thank you.
Do we have to make an adjustment for any of the costs or anything?
I don't think so.
As is where is?
As is where it is, yeah. Shannon?
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes. All right, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-007, approval of to advertise the bidding of Jackson Avenue 9th and 17th Street construction TPF LP 20055 project.
Second. All right, motion and second. I bet this is Ms. Ball.
Mayor and Commissioner, so this was, we received the grant for the construction of this project. I've been working with Pettigrew, and we have advertising and of course, in your package, you've seen the project's manual. And so we are hoping to get your approval to advertise this, to go out to bid. Tomorrow, if you approve it tonight, we'll put out the advertisements, and then we'll have a pre-bid meeting on January 23rd at 2 p.m. It'll be here in City Hall in the chamber room. It'll be live, and it will be on like a Zoom type call for people to attend that. We'd have a deadline for questions. We have the opening bid date would be February 5th at 10 a.m. We would have that here as a public opening for all bids that are submitted. And then hopefully that would bring us to be able to award that construction project within that first commission meeting in December.
Is this the one where we're widening the street?
Yeah, it's where we're widening from 9 to 13.
This is where we're gonna put
This is where
Ball's
they're gonna-
name, that we're, you know, like normally they have, Constructors Inc. is doing this $3.2 million, blah, blah, blah.
This is gonna say Robbie Roberts.
No, it's
Mayor.
gonna say Crystal Ball is authorizing this particular whatever.
Okay.
And her location is at blah, blah, blah.
Send hate mail to.
Have you given notice to all those people yet?
I'm fixing to. Those are going to be
She's
mailed
a
out.
fixin'.
Okay.
Oh, well, you know, next meeting, we're gonna have a lot of people here, so. All right, any discussion?
Yeah, will include sidewalks, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a plus for them.
Yeah, it's an ADA improvement and road improvement project.
Yeah, so that's a plus for
Front
them.
door, side
I just
door.
want to know what I gotta
That's
say.
exactly what it's gonna be.
We're working with the
They
Lake
don't
County
have to have
Electric
variances
to relocate
because there
some of
won't
the
be a
electrical
20-foot
poles.
gap
Between
a lot
the
of
front of
things
the
that
building
gotta go on in
and the
that
street.
area.
On every one of those houses.
Yeah.
At least they're getting a sidewalk. It's the only thing to get
There's so
done.
many little yard.
Well, it's gonna be right up against their front porch step.
Not much lawn.
Yeah, there will be a lawn of some.
All right, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Crystal,
Yes.
now I understand this is gonna be basically like a Zoom meeting? Is it,
For the pre-bid meeting and the bid opening.
okay.
It will be, you can attend it in person right here. We'll have them here in City Hall.
Now, is this that we are putting this out to bidders? Do we know how many bidders, or we do not?
We do not, because we need to put it out to bid.
Right,
Yeah, this is just to advertise the bidding of it.
mhm, okay. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Shannon?
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes,
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-008. Approve removal and addition of signatures from municipal court bank accounts.
second.
We have a motion and second for consideration of this resolution. Who's got it? You do, oh, okay.
That'd be me. So we've had staff changes, we need to remove Blanca, and I do the bank reconciliation on this account, so I also don't need a
You
signature.
can't be a signatory.
No, and so wanted to add Christina Davis, who's the municipal court clerk, and David just as a backup signature,
Okay.
just in case Mark Owens is currently already a signatory on that account.
Gotcha. All right. Questions? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes,
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Ms. White?
Do you have a finance report or just this? Okay, like to make a motion to pay bills.
Second.
Motion and second.
Just 28 pages with the bills, that's what happens when we don't have a meeting.
When we don't have an extra meeting, yeah.
Right, is-
Don't look at the total at the back, right?
so this expense report covers more than a month.
Bless you.
So do.
It's also why I brought my computer, so if there's anything we need to look up.
It's really small.
We can look it up.
So maybe you just.
It was before all that. I guess they stick to the rest.
In that same vein, I also have a 53-page encumbrance report that I'm going to be going over with each program department head, just to see what, if there's invoices that were missing on their old purchase orders, or if we need to close them out.
What do we have for waste management?
2 times. One is commercial, one's residential, so give or take.
What do we have to do?
There's two.
Yes.
They didn't pay waste management. Everybody a little bit more, but. Any questions from Ms. Cooper?
Really? I really figured it would have been more than that.
Huh?
I wish my bills would have been like nothing.
You're good. All right. Ms. Shannon?
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Rowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Mr. Game. Oh, we're not done. Back page. Here you go. I got you right here.
I'm going home. I don't know about the rest of you. No, I'm not doing that one.
He said, no, I'm not doing that. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1 NMSA 1978, subsection H2 for limited personnel matters. Finance Director.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Shannon?
Commissioner Rowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yep. Yes.
I liked your enthusiasm on that, but.